Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be bringing you a review of If It Would Like to Focus. Well, you can see, well, this is random review 9, yeah, random review 9, and as you can see it is a review of the Image of the Fendahl collector set. My very good friend Dan requested me to do this, so thank you, Dan. So yeah, this one's kind of a interesting set. It's one that is kind of odd, but it's pretty cool. So we'll go over the figure first that no one really cares about, and that's the Leela figure. I'm pretty sure, um, you know, not many people were buying the set for this reason. Unless you didn't have a Leela figure, then it was good for that. So we're going to go over the articulation. Now I tried to record this review, but that didn't work. And basically I realised something here, and her leg also fell off. Hopefully it just falls off again, because that would be funny. So if it focuses, right, so we'll go over the articulation first. So, well, the head can move side to side. The thing is though with this, I wouldn't recommend doing it. As you can see, it fucking scratches the paint off. I don't know if it was already like that. I've never noticed this. I've literally just noticed this trying to record it in the first attempt. But you can see it's just coming off. Like, you can see it moving up there. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. So just keep her head straight. So yeah, she's got a very dodgy hit. Could this thing focus? Right, now it's focused. So yeah, the head turns as well you would expect. She's got ball jointed arms, which is quite cool. Bicep, elbow, wrist, waist. And well, she's got knee. Leela has weird articulation on her legs. There we go, it's came out. We're just showing this. Like, okay, they've both popped it. That's great, isn't it? Oh, God. This is where Cat Options quality control was starting to slip. Like, they sort of, I don't know, it's ball jointed basically, so it's not like T-crotch where they come out all the way. It just kind of like ball jointed, because I guess they would have those like kind of legs, not legs, poses where her legs are like really stretched out in that, because she was trying to be well, they were trying to make Leela a sort of sex pot companion. So yeah, and she's got bend at the knee, and a thigh, not a thigh, a boot swivel, we'll call it. So I'm going to put his leg back on. The quality control in this figure is not really good. It's kind of rubbery and feels hot. Like, that is literally not one to go back in. Please fucking work. Okay. So yeah, so the articulation. So the head sculpt. Well, it does look like Leela. I mean, if you're a classic fan and you were to like show this to someone, they would recognise that's Leela. However, I don't really think they've got Louise Jameson's face ever like 100% correct, or just not right looking. The best one in my opinion is definitely the face of Evil One, which is a great figure. But for like bringing this one, this was my first Leela figure. This is the B&M one from 2017. I much prefer this one. It definitely looks a lot more like her. But just for this, it just looks a bit bland, and I don't know. The paint apps on it are just not really nice. This one's much better. Now, if you didn't know, if you couldn't tell, these are the same figure. Basically all they've done is because Leela's head sculpt was the hair was a plug, because they were obviously probably planning to do this. It's kind of the example of this is kind of like with the the original Perry figure. If I just I'll bring her out. So I need to redo this section anyway because it's kind of fucked as it is. With the original Perry figure from Venus and Varos, the first ever classic figure, you can see she has a sculpted headband, which she obviously doesn't wear in Venus and Varos. Obviously, the obvious reason why they've done that is because if I can get the figure out, they were also planning to do an Attack of the Cyberman variant all along where she does wear a headband. So it was kind of a clever way of doing that. So that's kind of the same example with this figure. Obviously just the same head sculpt, but having a plug so they can swap it and, you know, make a new figure. So obviously they've just pulled this out and plonked this one on. I really don't like this look of Leela. Much prefer this one. So yeah, she's like sort of smug, like she doesn't give a shit. She's got wash in the hair. It's sort of like ginger, which that's not Louise Jameson's hair color, but her hair does sort of look ginger in that story. Then she's got the it's not a choker, like the sort of collar. Does she have it on? Yeah, she does. She's got it on that one as well. It's like a sort of collar, which is like black and sort of cream. We come down here, well, you know, they must always sculpt this for some reason on figures because, you know, example, the Perry figure, they like to make her breast size probably like 2 times larger than they actually are. Bit weird. And the Katie Manning figures have knickers. So yeah, she's got the beige dress, which is a bucket here. Sorry, but that's not fucking focusing. Focus, you piece of shit. As you can see, our collar continues to the back here. Now, when it comes to this part, oh god, I just hit the camera, I'm so sorry. When it comes to this part in figures, where they try and seal up the back on Leela, oh my god, it is fucking awful. You can either get a really good one, or a completely crap one. My one seems to be fine, but I've seen some fucking awful ones out there. So as you can see, it's just, well, a beige dress. You've got some, like, not intricate, like, sort of, is it even in, I think it is indented. That's, like, painted to be highlighted. She's got some creases here, again, to be highlighted. The 2 arm, I don't know what you call these. They've got sort of, like, black arrows. Not arrows, but, like, you know, black, sort of, even sort of, like, ticks, in a way, going down both sides. What as well? Oh yeah, she's got the stitch effect up on both sides, actually. That's kind of it. It's a pretty, not a really great costume, if I'm honest. I really don't like this look of Leela. I much prefer the Face of Evil one. I think Louise Jameson didn't really like this costume either. Sorry, the slide keeps coming up. Yeah, we've got a pouch, which is brown, if you couldn't tell, and it also holds her knife, which is silver, pointy. That's a very dark brown handle. There you go. That's great, isn't it? Yeah, every Leela figure has always came with a knife. And she can just hold that. And you can, you know, I'm going to attack you, Fendahl. Full focus, thank you. So yeah, it's a knife. I don't have much to say. Every fucking Leela figure comes with them. So yeah, and then we've got her legs. And we've got the boots, which are sort of... That's actually... I've just kind of noticed that. One seems to be more mudded up than... Like, look at... Don't you like 2... They're obviously the same base colour, but they've just like done completely different washes on them. Like, I don't know why I would have, but I'm just going to check anyway. If I got... Why? I don't know why I would have... It seems like Have I mixed their legs up? I don't think I have, no? No, because it's sort of 2... In fact, I think they're the same skin tone. I don't know. Also, you can just look how horribly painted the... Look how horribly painted the B&M one is compared to that. I mean, like, there's just no competition. Even though I prefer this look of Leela. This is obviously probably, I guess, the better painted one. I was gonna say, also, yeah, why the fuck did they do this? By the way, she does have a knife, it's just in a box. Right, okay, so this is meant to be from, well, it was just known as Leela, but obviously this originally came out in the Invasion of Time set, and they released it again in the B&M set. I don't know, is this meant to be from Invasion of Time, or I'm not really that an expert on Lilo's costumes, so but for some reason this is from the Face of Evil. Leela. This hand sculpt is from the Face of Evil Leela. Basically, she wears a sort of like black thing around her wrist, like a wristband or something. And for some reason they decided to paint over that and stick that hand on this figure. And you can even see it doesn't exactly fit properly. I don't get why the fuck did they do that when the sculpt of that arm existed. It's just stupid, and see how that fits much more better and just looks more healthier. Like it's just like she's got this thickness in her around her fucking wrist. It's stupid. But now if we come back to this, one boot appears to be more heavied up than the other. Maybe it's just the way it's been made, or is that accurate to the story? I don't know. I don't really care. Yeah, it's interesting. What as well have we got? What? That's it really. To be honest, not much to say about this figure. Although I was thinking this. Couldn't they do? I mean, I don't think this is a figure we'll ever get, but I know everyone really wants it. A Tales of Unshine Leela. Couldn't they use this head sculpt? I know it's not completely accurate, but it's a close enough look. I'd say. I think, does she wear a hat? And yeah, she wears a hat, doesn't she? In the Tales of Unshine. I should remember this because I've just watched it recently. With Dan, we watched Updated Effects. They were really good. Although the rat looks shit, and the light, the CGI rat. It's in the dark though. Mwah. Better than the original. But like, couldn't they just? Because I mean, they did it with the Tom figure, didn't they? I mean, he's just over here. Obviously, they weren't going to bother doing a new head sculpt, so they just done him without as what do you call it? Deerstalker hat. That's it. So. And there's a point in the story where we do see him without the hat, so it does work for that. So I'm just thinking, I'm sure there's a point in the story where we see Lilo without the hat. If she wears a hat, that is. I'm sure she wears a hat. If she doesn't wear a hat, then what I'm saying is completely pointless. But if she wears a hat, I'm sure there's a point in the story where she doesn't wear it. So they could just easily use this head sculpt because we know they're not going to bother making a new one. And it's not like they've done this before. Like the Missy figure for the Extremist one from Series 10, they used the Series 8 one. Which was not quite how she looked, but it was close enough. So, I mean, if we were to get a Tales of Unshine Leela, they would probably use this head sculpt. But that's basically it for the Leela figure. I don't really have anything else to say. It's not a figure I particularly care about or want it. To me, it's just another Leela figure. And it's probably my least favourite look. I'm not a fan of this costume anyway. It's just, I don't know. It's not a very nice looking costume. I mean, it's shorter than the Face of Evil one, which obviously people still watching it to this day probably like it for that reason. But yeah, don't really have much to say about it. It's just another little figure. So let's get on to the main reason why people were obviously buying this set. And that is, of course, Baby Fendahl. No, I'm joking. It's also the big one, but I'm gonna touch upon this. I know Hannah will be happy with this. So yeah, this is a Baby yeah, it's not Fendahl, it's Fendaline. I'm sorry. Fendahl is the gold woman. They're called Fendaline these. So this is a baby. Fendaline. It's quite a cute, nice little accessory. It's just like one piece. You've got like detail of like the sort of what are the Fendahls? I need to. You know what I mean? What are the Fendalines meant to be? Are they meant to be like sort of big slugs or snake type thing? I don't know because I haven't watched Images of Fendahl in a long time. So, but it's a pretty it's a cool accessory. It's got sort of the again indent detail painted green with sort of like a bluish grey on top, just sort of like kind of highlight the details. You've got his little tail, and also the front here is sort of like painted a lightish brown and the sort of cream to highlight it again, and then we've just got some red inside. both of here, and his little mouth, his little frondles. I think that's what they're called. It's like a nerd. Yeah, you've got his little easy little piece here. It's actually. I mean, it's not an accessory like that. Oh, this is shit. It's, you know, you can see why they've done it. And you know, it's quite good for. I know. This is how wrong does this look? It's quite good if you want to get a couple of these and you want to recreate that scene. I know this is not the right character, but you obviously see like 3 of them appear on like top of someone. I can't remember. So yeah, it's quite a, you know, it's a nice little thing. Then if we we'll look at this next. The skull and the plinth. Now some people have trouble getting theirs to stay on. Now with this, you need to do it on a certain bit. Now as you can see, this is sort of more flat, and this is more rounded. If you do it on the flat bit, it just doesn't exactly like stay on right. It does sort of tilts kind of. It's real hard to show that on camera. But if you do it on the more sort of end bit, it stays on fine. Perfectly fine. So we'll look at the cylinder first. Well, it's silver. It's a pillar. That's it. Then the skull. It's pretty nice. It's not a remolding of the Unearthly Child skull. It's a completely brand new sculpt, and it's got the Fendahl mark or star or something. I can't remember, but you can see that bit of detail here. This appears to be molded in. I'm gonna hold it up to the torch. It's actually glowing right now. I think it's a sort of. It looked red to me before, but I think it's a sort of orange colour, which is quite nice. It's also accurate to the story. Then we've got some black to highlight like the nose and the eye holes, and then it's just painted in white. The rest of it just to sort of give it that old look and detail. It's just, I mean, it's a nice accessory. It's a nice piece. And this set's actually got a sick background, which I would go and get, but I can't be bothered. But you've got that little table and everything. It's actually a really cool backdrop. It's probably one of the best ones they've done. So yeah, that's the skull and plinth. Then if we come to the big boy, we've got the Fendahl. I'm gonna have to zoom out for this because he's just fucking huge. So this is the Fendahl. Fucking Paul, I think this is the biggest thing we have from. Just moving it out of the way. This is the biggest thing we have from the character options range classic wise anyway. I think the biggest figure we've ever had is the Rachnos, but classic wise this is definitely the biggest, which I guess is the pyramid from the Mars set, but of like, you know, like what's meant to be like sort of a figure, like a creature, whatever. This is definitely the biggest thing for classic Who. So we'll go over the articulation. His tail turns. You could do that, but it would look kind of. I kind of wish they sculpted both sides. I mean, I know that would make it uneasy, I guess, but you know, just. Actually, maybe not. But it would have been nice if they'd done that, so you could just sort of like turn it so it looks like squiggling. But never mind. Yeah, that just kind of flaps up and down. Doesn't really do anything. So it's a bit of articulation they didn't really need to add, to be honest with it. Yeah. Tail turns, that's pretty much it. This is rotocast, meaning it is hollow. There's a hole in it. What can we see up here? Yeah, and you've got copyright shot on the bottom. So obviously the base colour for this is green. And well, yeah, the base colour is green. So we've got sort of like well, we've got the face. Now I don't think they looked exactly like this in the story. Can't remember if they did. Close in. I can't remember if they looked exactly like this in the story, but I mean, it's like there's sort of like almost indentation of like eyes here or nostrils. Like they do. I don't think they are eyes, but they look like eyes. So well, yeah, the face is nicely sculpted. We've got sort of white and like it's actually sort of creamy white with a sort of piss yellow detailing. That's obviously to highlight everything. Then we've got a sort of green up here with like brown washes and a bit of even like a bit of orange up here. We've basically got around this entire part of our body sort of brown details along these three sides, which all sort of continue up to like this. These two bits continue to the end of here up here. So obviously it sort of look like it's been in dirt or some shit, like when it's trailing along. And then you've got this, which sort of like replicates its spine in a way. This looks all sort of grey here, and then it sort of gets brown the more it goes down. Obviously again this is sculpted, and like obviously the tail here, it kind of looks like you know, cards. You know, you've got like Ace of Diamonds and all that shit. It looks like the it's not the heart, but I think, you know what I mean. It kind of looks like that. If you get what I mean. I don't know what it's called. It's that because there's heart, diamond, and I can't remember anything, but it's black, isn't it? I think. But yeah, and then it's sort of sculpted to look like it's sort of segmented in a way that continues all the way to up here. The texture on this is really good as well. It's sort of like lumpy and like bumpy and sort of scratchy in a way. That's pretty much the entire body. We'll get to this piece. And obviously they've done this wash to highlight the details. It's really fucking well detailed. This is probably one of the best detailed things character options have done in the classic range. Obviously you've got, again, even this. I mean, look at that. You've got this brown wash continuing all the way to down here, and that's for both sides. Really nicely sculpted and beautifully done. You've got this piece which is separate. Now, wouldn't recommend you do this because you can hear the glue cracking. Although, to be honest, it's not like it's gonna rip the entire fucking thing off. I mean, if you just like, you know, if you want, like, and say if it gets like squashed up, you can sort of, I guess, like boil and pop it and try and ease it back out a bit. We've got this, which is the sort of, not tentacles, but the sort of like the fronds. It's kind of like a node. This is basically it's like a tongue, a big giant tentacly tongue, like a sea urchin tongue. I don't know. This reminds me of like some sort of sea creature. I don't know why. But it's basically two separate pieces. You can't really tell, but it is two. Is it two separate pieces? Yeah, it is two separate pieces. You can see the indent there. So you've got like a smaller piece and a bigger piece. That's just red. Quite nice, you know, it's accurate. Then this, both sides of this are amazing. So if it's just gonna, you've basically got this separate piece which has obviously been glued on. It just sort of continues the same detail and sculpting from here, more segmented up here, and you've got sort of these two bits, and it's all red on the inside, and then you've got these like well, sort of not, you know, like tendrils, fronds coming out, and that, and I guess you could sort of pose them in weird ways if you wanted to, even though they're not going to stay like that. Things though, also try and be careful you don't break these. But it's really nice. You've got 5 on each side, and 2 bits which like don't like have them, which is accurate. Yeah, it's a lovely thing. This, I really do like it. It's massive. It's the fat bastard. Totally not stole that from Look Reviews 76 video, which I watched a bit of before I done this review, where he reviews this anyway. Yeah, but it's really nice though. I don't really have much else to say. It's sort of more, oh yeah, it's more, as you can see, it's sort of white here to highlight it, and it gets more green and sort of brown, even like sort of like a dark white or something here. A good lot of mixes and colours and washes to really bring out the detail. It is absolutely gorgeous. So I've had to pan this out because this thing is just fucking huge. That's it for the image of the Fendahl Klitcher set review. Would I recommend this? Definitely. The problem is though, this set is kind of hard to get now. It's going up to like £60. The highest I paid for it, 45.50, sort of in that area. 45.50, not really worth any more than. I mean, for a figure which no one really cares about. If you've got a Leela figure and like, if you can just get the Fendahl on its own, then I would recommend it. But obviously you want the accessories and that, and obviously baby Fendahl. But you don't really find those separately. So you would, if you want, like, you're probably just better off buying the whole set together. But I wouldn't pay any more than probably 50 for this. If you have to push it a bit, then do so. It's a really good set. I think. Oh, how much did this cost? It was like 40 quid or 45. It was expensive. The Keeper tracking set, that was £65 back in the day. So yeah, sorry this video's kind of in ages. I don't really intend my random reviews to be like this, but it's sort of a big set, and Dan wants me to review the entire thing. So yeah, thanks for the recommendation, Dan. But would I recommend it? Yes, if you can get it for a good price you think's worth it, go for it. It's a really good set. Even though this is the point where character options were starting to dip in quality control, like the Leela is not, the build on this figure is not really too great. This more makes up for it. It's a beautiful piece and looks really good on your shelf when you display it. It's just absolutely wonderful. That's all I've really got to say. So thank you all for thank you to Dan for recommending me this, and thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye.